Good evening. My name is Alex Ormipamba. I'm going to talk about bilingual language learning. Some children learn two languages. They use one language at home and another at the school. Monolingual versus bilingual development. Monolingual children learn one language. Bilingual children learn two languages at the same time. Early bilingual challenge. Bilingual children sometimes mix words. They may speak slowly at first. And cognitive benefits. Bilingual people can remember things well. They may think in different ways. Impact of the first language. Learning a second language can help the first language. Sometimes words from both language mix. Long-term effects. Bilingual people have strong language skills. They can learn more language in the future. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Elsa Yaulema and I'm going to talk about theories of bilingual development. Number one, the unitary system theory. These theories suggest that bilingual individuals function with a single unified language system rather than two separate ones. A language input from both language merge, creating a shared linguistic structure that shapes the how bilingual both produce and understand language. Number two, the dual system theory. Unlike the unitary system, the dual system theory argues that bilinguals possess two distinct independent language systems. While each language is stored and processed separately, they can still influence one another, particularly in areas like vocabulary and syntax. Number three, the tripartite system theory. Tripartite system theory introduces a third layer to the bilingual experience, proposing that there are separate systems for L1, L2, and a combined one that merge both languages. It recognizes the complexities of bilingualism, where people alternate and mix language depending on the context. And number four, the succession theory proposed that with dual or tripartite system, each language has separate subcomponents, although the language are independent. Some elements, such as vocabulary, can be shared or accessed through um, common cognitive processes. This allows for both distinct storage and resource sharing.
Good evening, dear teacher. My name is Angela Freire. I'm going to explain about the learning activity. In this case, I'm going to mention and talk about bilingualism and cognition. As a little introduction, I'm going to mention the benefits of bilingualism. In this case, I consider bilinguals switch between languages called switching without confusing and meaning both languages are active in their brain. One major advantage is that this bilingualism has been linked to delayed onset of dementia, even in individuals who are illiterate. And being bilingual enhances cognitive flexibility and may provide long-term neurological benefits. I can mention also the types of bilingualism, where I can say coordinate, that learn two languages in a separate context, compound, acquire both language in the same environment, linking them to share concepts, subordinate, learn a second language through translation from their dominant language. And also, maybe we'll mention in one example when a child who speaks Spanish at home and learns English at school is a coordinate bilingual. A child raised with both languages and at the same time is a compound bilingualist. And also, I can mention about how the brain organizes multiple language. In this case, I'm going to emphasize the use of STEM system hypothesis. The brain processes both language in shared neural system, dual system hypothesis, And each language is supported by several neural mechanisms and also subset hypothesis, and where there is a single system with a separate subsystem for each language. I can say bilingual brains may organize language different based on age of acquisition and proficiency level according to their ages. And finally, I could mention the fourth part of this, where brain damage and language recovery. When a person suffers brain damage, the impact of the language still varies. Researchers have identified six recovery patterns. When I can say the first one, this is parallel recovery, both languages recover at the same rate. Selective recovery, only one language recovered. Differential recovery, only one language recovers better than the other. Antagonist recovery, one language improves while the other regresses. Successive recovery, one language returns only after the one is restored. And finally, random recovery, no clear pattern or recovery. In this case, studies suggest that bilingual individuals may recover language skills faster than monolinguals after brain injury. This is an interesting fact. And finally, and just a conclusion, I could say to summarize, bilingualism is a cognitive function, language processing, and even brain recovery. It enhances mental flexibility, delays neurodegenerative disease, and challenges our understanding of how the brain organizes language. Understanding these factors helps linguists and psycholinguistics and neuroscientists uh, to explore full potential of bilingualism. Thank you. That's my intervention. I hope you like it.
How are multiple language structures organized in the brain? Our brain organizes multiple language structures efficiently. A lateralization means the left hemisphere dominates language processing. Broca's area controls the speech production, while Wernicke's area handles comprehension. These regions connect through the arcuate fascicles. In bilingual language, share brain regions but activate differently shown neural network sharing. Brain plasticity in higher in childhood, it in language acquisition but decreases with age. Language interference occurs when multiple languages interact. Lastly, working memory plays a key role in managing bilingual language processing.
Greetings, Professor. My name is Angelo, and I'm going to talk about the bilingualism and the brain damage. First, we need to identify the brain damage, and to identify the brain damage, we have different factors. They are the location and size, aphasia type, hemodynamic response, and treatment. Well, all this is important because we can identify where is the area that is affected by the brain damage, and also what is the symptoms and signs that we can find in the patient. Then we have the bilingualist has a protective system and it can affect the cognitive outcome and work as a cognitive reserve. The bilingualist can work as a cognitive reserve because we develop our cognitive brain or cognitive part of the brain, and with them we can provoke that the treatment and the rehabilitation be more fast. So, the dominant language is recovery first. A faster recovery will be faster and better. The person that are bilingualists or multilingualists can recover their abilities to produce language much better and faster. It is important to develop a cognitive outcome, and we can do it with the bilingualism or the practice of other language because our brain is processing more information. Well, this important also is important to identify the type of aphasia because we can find the aphasia and apraxia. Aphasia consists in the impossibility to understand speech and also produce speech. When we talk about the apraxia, we can understand the speech, but we can produce speech because we can articulate correctly the the point of our mouth to produce a language, to produce the speech. Thank you very much.